The Minotaur, a half-man,
half-bull monster trapped in a labyrinth.
But where does this legend come from, and could it have a grain of truth? In Greek mythology, the Minotaur was born from a curse placed on King Minos of Crete. The creature, with the body of a man and the head of a bull, was confined to a huge labyrinth designed by the genius Daedalus. It fed on human sacrifices until the hero Theseus entered the maze,
defeated it and ended its reign of terror.
But could the Minotaur be more than a myth? Some historians believe the story symbolizes the ancient Minoan civilization's bull-worshipping rituals, like the famous sport of bull leaping.
Others think it represents the terror of natural disasters like earthquakes that devastated Crete.
Archaeological discoveries of the Palace of Knossos, with its maze-like structure and bull imagery, suggest the Minotaur legend may be tied to real events and cultural practices. So, is the Minotaur just a cautionary tale, or does it hold clues to ancient history? What do you think? Pure myth, or a story rooted in reality? Until next time, travelers.
The basilisk, a creature of legend, said to be the king of serpents. But what's the truth behind the myth? Described in ancient texts as a serpent or lizard with deadly powers, the basilisk was believed to kill with just a glance or a single breath. Its name comes from the Greek word basiliskos, meaning little king. Because of the crown-like crest on its head, the basilisk first appeared in ancient Roman writings, like those of Pliny the Elder, who claimed it was so venomous that it could leave the ground scorched. Some stories even say the only way to defeat it was by showing it its own reflection. But where did this myth come from? Some think it's based on exaggerated tales of real animals, like cobras, giant lizards, or even chickens, for some reason. In fact, medieval travelers may have mistaken sightings of these creatures for encounters with the basilisk. The myth of the basilisk endured for centuries, symbolizing ultimate danger and mystery. But what's the truth behind the myth? Or could there be truth to the legend? What do you think? Myth or monster? Until next time, travelers.
The phoenix, a bird of fire, rebirth, and immortality. But could this legendary creature have real-world origins? In mythology, the phoenix is a magnificent bird that lives for centuries. At the end of its life, it bursts into flames, only to rise anew from its own ashes. This cycle made it a symbol of renewal, hope, and eternal life. The story of the phoenix traces back to ancient Egypt, where the Bennu bird linked to the sun god Ra was said to be a divine creature of creation and rebirth. The Greeks and Romans later adapted this into the fiery phoenix we know today. Could it be inspired by real creatures? Some say it resembles brightly colored birds like the golden pheasant or flamingo. Others think it's purely symbolic, a way to explain natural cycles, like the sun rising each day or life springing up after destruction. Even today, the phoenix represents resilience and transformation. So, is it just a myth?
Or could this ancient symbol hold truths about the way we view life and afterlife?
What do you think? Legend, metaphor, or something more? Until next time, travelers.
Do you believe in mermaids? For centuries, mermaids have captivated our imaginations. These half-human, half-fish beings first appeared in ancient mythology, with roots in Assyrian legends of Atargatis, a goddess who transformed herself into a mermaid out of shame. But these creatures were far from benevolent. Across cultures, they've been feared as predators of the sea. Sailors from Greece to Scandinavia spoke of sirens and their countless stories of deadly mermaids whose songs lured ships onto jagged rocks. Their beauty was a mask, hiding sharp teeth and insatiable hunger. In medieval Europe, mermaids were painted as harbingers of doom, their sightings linked to violent storms and shipwrecks. Even today, their tales persist. From the Caribbean's fierce Mamadlo to Japan's cursed Ningyo, mermaids remain symbols of the ocean's seductive yet merciless power. Are they mere myth, or do they still linger in the depths, waiting to lure the unwary beneath the surface? Beware the siren's call, it promises wonder, but delivers only darkness. Echoes of enigma whisper across the globe. We just need to listen. Until next time, travelers.
Ogres, terrifying creatures of myth, or something more?
The French term ogre, first popularized in literature by Charles Perrault in the late 1600s, it may derive from the Latin orcus, a god of the underworld in Roman mythology.
In folklore, they're described as giant,
Human-like monsters,
often cruel, strong,
and with an appetite for flesh.
but not always believed to be mindless, but smart, magical, and dangerous.
Stories of ogres exist across cultures. Norse trolls, Japanese oni, and even the Cyclops of Greek mythology share striking similarities. Discoveries of large prehistoric animals and humanoid fossils might have
Inspired myths of giants and ogres.
At one point in time, historians believed that mammoth skulls were skulls of Cyclops remains.
Due to their large central nasal cavity, some believe ogres are inspired by early encounters with Neanderthals or prehistoric predators. Others think they symbolize ancient fears passed down through time. Are they just legends, or could these myths be rooted in something real? The mystery remains. What do you think? Until next time, travelers. Do you believe in dragons? Dragons, legends, myths, or something more? Let's unravel their secrets. Across the world, cultures separated by oceans tell stories of dragons. Ancient drawings of dragons are some of the most intriguing artifacts in human history, appearing in cultures across the globe long before the advent of mass communication. From the fearsome serpentine dragons carved into Viking runestones, to the intricate depictions of long-scaled dragons in Chinese art, these creatures dominate the myths and folklore of many civilizations. In medieval Europe, dragons were often drawn as menacing winged beasts guarding treasure, or terrorizing villages, symbolizing chaos or evil. In contrast, in East Asia, dragons were celebrated as wise, benevolent forces, often depicted with flowing bodies and surrounded by clouds, representing power, luck, and harmony. These drawings, whether etched into cave walls, painted on parchment, or sculpted into temple walls, raise questions. Were they purely symbolic, inspired by imagination and fossilized remains, or echoes of a shared memory of something more tangible? Some say these myths were inspired by dinosaur fossils, but others believe dragons were real, guardians of ancient knowledge, or even visitors from another realm. Some say dragons are an ancient memory of something real, maybe a prehistoric beasts or an unknown predators. Others see them as symbols of power, chaos, or wisdom. But what if they were more than symbols? Even today, we find stories of dragon-like creatures in hidden corners of the world. Are they remnants of the past, or echoes of something we've yet to understand? Dragons might just be the ultimate enigma. What's your theory? Let's hear it in the comments. Until next time, travelers.
What is a banshee? In the dead of night, when the world is still, a chilling wail splits the silence, a sound so haunting it seems to pierce the very air. This is the cry of the banshee, a spirit of Irish legend, whose mournful scream signals the end of someone close. She is often seen as a woman in white, her long hair wild and untamed, her face pale with sorrow. The banshee's cry isn't a warning of danger, but of something far worse, the loss of a loved one. Her wail is a harbinger of grief, echoing through the night, impossible to ignore. In 1895, a woman in County Limerick, Ireland, reported hearing a banshee's wail on the night her brother, a sailor, drowned at sea. Her account was so vivid and detailed that it caught the attention of local historians. She described the cry as piercing and sorrowful, and the timing matched the tragic death perfectly. 4 generations her family had whispered of a banshee tied to their bloodline, an ancient spirit forever tied to their fate. Was the banshee truly there to warn her, or was it simply a chilling coincidence? We may never know for certain, but the story remains a haunting reminder that the line between myth and reality can sometimes be frighteningly thin. If you hear the banshee's wail, can you escape what she's foretelling, or is your fate already sealed? Until next time, travelers.
Goblins, small, sneaky, and always up to no good. But where do these infamous creatures come from, and could they have a basis in reality? Goblins first appeared in European folklore, described as mischievous, greedy, and sometimes downright malevolent. Known for their small stature and grotesque features, they were said to haunt dark places, stealing, tricking, and causing chaos wherever they went. Legends of goblins vary widely. In some tales, they hoard treasure and protect it fiercely. In others, they kidnap children or play cruel tricks on humans. But almost always, goblins are linked to caves, forests, or abandoned places, locations that spark fear of the unknown. Some believe goblin stories stem from ancient fears of wild animals or even encounters with other human species, like Neanderthals,
Others see them as symbolic, representing greed, mischief.
or the dangers of venturing into the dark. The myth of the goblin has endured for centuries, evolving into the mischievous creatures we see in pop culture today. But could these legends be rooted in something real? What do you think? Harmless fairy tale or a warning from the past? Until next time, travelers.